Right, hi folks, welcome to another lovely day, although it's supposed to be thunderstorms between 4 and 5, so I need to get the bit of van I'm going to paint painted and give it a chance to dry off before the thunderstorms arrive. I haven't done anything for a few days because last week I managed to drop a caravan door on my foot and crushed my big toe. Normally I wear work boots. Unfortunately, when I went home the other night, the sole fell off one of my work boots. So the next day I wore a pair of rubbish trainers that I bought when I was in Las Vegas with Charlie last year, which had started to fall to pieces already. And of course wearing those, which had no protection whatsoever, I dropped this caravan door on my foot. So now I'm hobbling about, but I have got new work boots. Okay, so let's turn this around. Right, I've masked it all up. I spent about 2 hours trying to taper it at the front end, but it just didn't look right. Because the line across here is straight, tapering it just looked wrong. So I've had to just do it as a block as it is. We'll see what it looks like when it's done. I've prepped it all up, rubbed it all down. Now all I've got to do is dust it off, degrease it and put some paint on it. Right, that's drying off nicely in the warmth. I've just masked up the back where I'm going to put a matte black panel around the rear window, and I'm going to take it across out wider over the joining strips because it will help camouflage them a little bit. As you can see, I'm still using this rubbish brown paper I bought from Amazon. Which, although it's only been on 2 seconds, is all falling off already. So I can use it, but I just have to re-tape every single joint with some proper masking tape. So that's the back, all flatted down and prepped, ready for a bit of semi-matte satin black. As you can see, I've gone all over that horrible green masking tape with proper yellow masking tape, which will stop it falling off, I hope. So I'm going to mix up a bit of matte black, put that on. Well, I think that's going to be rather unsuccessful because I've just got the last coat of paint on and it's gone from a beautiful blue sky to starting to spit with rain. So I'll have to see what happens. It looks alright, but it is just starting to spit with rain. Got to unmask this lot now, it's dry enough. We'll see what it looks like. luckily it stopped raining almost as quickly as it started, just a few little spits. I've got that black bit done, which looks a little bit bit lonesome on its own, but I'm going to do some grey down the sides, across the bottom in like a V, and back up the other side, and I think that'll help break it up quite a bit. We'll see. Right, another day and a little interesting task today. The foam block that I was cut out of the door to hold the handle and stuff on the tailgate has collapsed, which is not surprising because originally it was framed in amongst aluminium both sides, and it's not really up to the job. So there's three ways I can see out of the problem. Obviously I've got to make a new one. The simple way would be to scan it and 3D print it, but I don't have a scanner and I don't have a 3D printer, so that one's out of the question. The other ways are to carve it out of a wooden block, or a solid piece of plastic, but I don't have a solid piece of plastic that thick, and I don't want to make it out of wood because wood will absorb moisture and eventually it'll fall to pieces. So the other way to make it is to laminate it, make it up in various sections and cut each one to correspond to the hole in this, so you just build up the depth. So I've got some of the old plastic which was from the side panels of the van, which I'm no longer using, and I'm going to cut about 10-12 squares out of it, and I'm going to laminate it all up to make a solid plastic block. But before I laminate it, I will cut each section out to make the shape that I need. So that's the plan. Right, I've now got 14 pieces of plastic, which come to roughly the size that I want. It's a little bit lower than the block, but I've got a thick piece of ABS that it's got to go through as well, plus the glue is going to add a little bit of height to it as well. So that should be about spot on. Now on the lock itself, originally on the car it fitted, when it was a door lock, it fitted that way round like so, but I've turned it round, I've got it this way. So what I've had to do is file a little bit out of both sides so that the mechanism just clears it without catching, and the locks actually sit down, but the studs actually sit down properly where they're meant to, and the studs actually touch the back plate now, whereas before they were being held off quite a bit. So that should work okay. So now what I've got to do is cut this shape into here, and what I'm going to do first of all is clamp them together and drill a hole, that hole there, through the whole lot of them. Now I'll use a hole saw, see if I've got one that's roughly the right size, which is not quite that one. That one's That's about perfect. That will do. It doesn't matter if it goes over this edge a little bit. It's just to get a hole through the whole lot. So I need to clamp them all together. Now I've got loads of big clamps, but I'm hoping that I can use these put 4 of those around. And they should clamp it tight enough that I can drill through the lot without it moving. Obviously not if they do that, I can't. That's better. Right, so before I put them all on, I need to mark up exactly where my hole's going to go, and I'll do it this way round so it fits the top one best. That's the top, that's there. So I'm going to mark those 2 bits there. I'm going to mark the very top of that circle, and then I'll use this, centralise it on the marks that I've got. It's about there. Drill round it. Mark round it with a pencil, drill round it, mark round it, mark my thing, and then I'll turn it over, centralise it on there, and then mark the hole in the middle where the drill's got to go, and then by eye I'll just do a cross across there, and that's where my drill hole's got to go. And that was very successful. Had to keep cleaning the plastic out of the drill because it was blocking it, but we've now got a nice neat hole right through the centre. So that's that, and that lines up okay with that. Now what we've got to do is start cutting out levels to get the shape that we need. So we've got that with our nice neat hole, and if I put that over the top, that's just about perfect. Now I've got to start going down level by level, cutting out the rest of this. So I'm going to use this, which is the original aluminium. Now, as you can see, this bit doesn't need to be cut out because nothing goes there. So what we're going to do for the first half dozen is just cut this shape here, but we're going to shorten it a little bit. Hang on, let's line that up. No, we don't need to shorten it. Sorry, line it up like that. So the first maybe 5 levels, we're going to cut this shape out of these. Right, that's it all glued up and clamped up, so that is my replacement for that. Gonna let it dry now for half an hour or so. Got as many clamps on it as I possibly can. Let it dry for half an hour or so while I have a bit of lunch, and then we'll try and fit it, see if it works. And that's it, all refitted, much better than it was before. I just haven't fitted the rams yet, but that is on and that is completely solid now. So a bit of work, took a couple of hours, but it's done the job. I've got to adjust the lock slightly because the position's a bit different, so it's not quite catching on the lock. So not a problem, we'll just give the lock the striker plate a move. Not going to do it now because I can't be bothered. But yeah, just got to adjust the striker plate and then that will be perfect. So job done. Thanks for watching. This is definitely the end of this video because I'll upload it this evening. So thanks very much for watching. Give us a like and subscribe if you want to see more of it. Cheers, bye.